I have my
I want to here's something else that's interesting.
I have
All
my
the
my background.
I should show you something before we sign off because I have Cherry and Pee Wee here. It's here, but on this little flash drive for the audience is all the shows that shout out to Kimberly Hall from like even back in the WMMT days, WEBR days, over 100 shows on this little.
Wow.
Yeah,
Did you record them?
she did. She did.
Shout out to Kimberly Hall. I've
Yeah,
only
she
met
did.
her in person one time, but I still keep up. We kind of keep up with her. She keeps me updated on
On
NASCAR.
NASCAR.
Yep.
NASCAR.
Like the last time I messaged her was when they had that virtual NASCAR race.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the most excited I've ever been about NASCAR. And I loved it. I watched like the whole race and she was all excited about that.
Well, her and I went to a NASCAR race one time in Charlotte. We were in the front, the very front. And
Wow,
well,
she's
I
got the
mean,
hookup.
she set it up. I just drove, and we drove down. If there was like a country singer that performed
Yeah.
before the show, I mean before the race, his show before the race, it was extremely hot that day. Oh, it was 100 degrees.
I I've never been to a NASCAR race, but my cousins went to Bristol one time and they were telling us about it. And it was so because they brought kids and
Yeah.
they were like they said their one daughter was so miserable. She screamed the whole time and they couldn't hear a word she said because
Wow.
they all had headphones on.
Yeah, yeah. We put in like little. We bought. I think we got little, like earplugs to put in. If I can go back and find it on my Instagram, I'll send you a little Instagram story how close we were. We were.
That's one of my I've been to all four major sports, but I've been to the four major sports. I've been to tennis now. I've never been to golf and I've never been to NASCAR. Those are
Yeah, I've
like
never
the
been to
two bigger.
tennis. I've never been to professional hockey or soccer, which I would like to catch a
I
soccer.
never I haven't been to an MLS game. I don't really live anywhere near MLS teams.
Well, see, I thought about since I was, up near DC that I could maybe check out a game whenever it's. I don't even know when the season runs, to be honest. I don't
I don't
know.
remember.
And
Yeah,
I think some are indoor, some play outdoor.
yeah.
I don't really know.
I go to Orlando a lot, so I feel like I should go to one of those games because I actually went to a Magic game at the same time. No, it was an NCAA game at the same time that Orlando FC or whatever they are
Yeah.
was playing. But I'd like to go. I'd like to go. I like soccer. I like live soccer. I broadcasted soccer for many years, and I actually really enjoyed it. It's one of the few sports where I think the women's version of the sport is
Yeah.
just as exciting as the men's version of the sport.
Yeah. I think volleyball's that way too. I like watching women's volleyball much better.
Yeah, oh yeah,
I don't
women's
watch men's
volleyball.
volleyball. I've never watched men's volleyball.
However,
Only
I
Top Gun.
I have I have broadcasted men's volleyball,
Yeah.
and the speed of that game is insane. Like it's
Really.
insane. But I still like women's volleyball better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but like women's tennis, I really like women's tennis and men's tennis. I like both. Uh, and then softball. I really like softball.
Are you playing tennis at all these days? Are you able to?
No.
You're not able to, or just because
Yeah, I mean
reality, or just because you don't have someone to play?
both locale. I mean, the nearest courts are like probably a 4 mile bike ride
Yeah.
away. So, which is a long bike ride. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's all level here. But Alex and I could go play, but you never know when you get there how many people are going to be there.
Yeah. So it could be a wasted trip then.
Exactly. So it's like an
Yeah.
island. There's an island here that has like has like a driving range, and they actually do a one of those Formula One races, like a road
Really?
race. They
Yeah.
do it on this island. They canceled it this year, but they do it on the island, and I was like, that would be That'd be pretty
Well,
cool
see,
to go
it was
to.
weird. Vog and I used to play tennis almost every night at the theater
Okay.
because my mom and I would play a lot when I was younger. We would play, a couple times a week. We would play for several hours, and then when I got older and worked at the theater, Vog and I would play afterwards. For 1 or 2, 2 or 3 hours a night. So we were playing pretty competitive for many, many years. And I've played some since then, and we were going to break a world record with tennis.
Yes, until the record was shattered, and then I had no interest in breaking that record
Yeah.
anymore.
Well, we need to get something in mind so we can do a new world record.
We've got to do a world record. That's on my
Because
list of things to
I do
do.
know this, and I do feel this. One of these days, we will be close, and we can actually do something because this is a step. Zoom is a step in the right direction.
Maybe this is what we could do. We could do the longest live Zoom show.
True. I will say this: I did get some information that they are looking for a board operator at the station at my company in Honolulu.
Do it.
But I will say this: last time I applied for something like that, they said that I had all the qualifications. They just wanted somebody that already lived on the island. So,
Would you live in Honolulu?
totally alone?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't
let's
know. I don't think I
let's
could.
let's say there was you had one other close friend
Yeah,
that you could probably just live with.
I mean, if I had one other close person, I could. I
Mhm.
think, but alone, no, I don't. I think it would just be too far from everything that I knew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I've just lived in DC, and now I know I can do that alone. When I lived there before, I had Talitha nearby. Terry was up there sometimes. You were up there pretty often. This time there was no one really, and there was a little difficulty transition to begin with. Could I do it now? No problem. Yeah, I could do it now. But Honolulu,
Here's the thing: if you made enough money,
if I made
you
enough money, I could.
you could fly back every weekend, and it would be a shorter flight than your drives are.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be probably about the same.
Well, see, I was thinking at one point, I was thinking, and I know I did the calculation, but before I did the calculations, I was like, Jake said he had a place in Lynchburg that he was Airbnb out. I was like, I wonder if there was a way that I could work up there, but rent it from you, and I wouldn't have to make all the way the drive here. But that's still a pretty good drive, though. From
That's like 4 hours.
Yeah,
That's not too bad. But Lynchburg's not really the metropolis that
yeah.
some might think it is. Nobody thinks it
Well,
is, so it's not.
well, Wise. That's where I am today.
Yeah, but
But
Wise Wise has personality, I think.
I will say this: it's a lot better now, looking at it from a different perspective than it was before. Especially with all this technology where we can do the show and such things like
Mhm.
that. Like you said, now we can do the show anywhere there's an internet connection.
You could be in Honolulu, as my grandmother used to say, Honolulu, and
Honolulu.
I could be in Sydney, Australia.
Yeah.